Today we're making the Mr. Bali Hai from the Bali Hai in San Diego. The restaurant first opened in 1954. Originally, it was a Christian's Hut, which was the name of a makeshift bar on Catalina Island that was established during the filming of Mutiny on the Bounty. The bar was named after Christian, who was the character that was played by Clark Gable. The most famous of the Bali Hai cocktails today is their Mai Tai, a drink with 3.5 ounces of rum. And the drink is celebrated for containing no juice. And that doesn't mean no pineapple, no orange juice. It means no juice. But they do use a sour mix. Just one of those Mai Tais is probably enough for anyone. But if you were planning on having more than one, then it might be smart to start your night off with ZBIOTIcs. ZBIOTIcs pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make ZBIOTIcs your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. So click the link in the description or use the QR code that's on the screen right now to get 15% off your first order. Plus, ZBIOTIcs offers a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're not satisfied really for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Thank you to ZBIOTIcs for sponsoring this episode. While the Mai Tai from the Bali Hai might be what they're most famous for today, the online cocktail and tiki culture recognizes Mr. Bali Hai as the most famous cocktail from the Bali Hai. The only public recipe I'm familiar with is the one that was shared by Beach Bum Berry, and that version of the drink comes from the 1970s. It included rum, pineapple juice, sour mix, and a coffee-flavored brandy. The version most people make today is the Beach Bum Berry version, where he adapts the drink into one with fresh lemon juice instead of the sour mix. Now, still to this day, if you order a Mr. Bali Hai, you get the option of keeping your very own Mr. Bali Hai mug. However, the drink that they serve there today, and at least for the last almost 20 years, is not a rum, coffee, and pineapple juice cocktail, but one with light rum, blackberry brandy, pineapple juice, sweet and sour, and 151 rum. That's the version that I'll be making today, and a recipe that I've adapted myself to my preferences since this recipe is still a secret to this day. When a recipe from this time period, or I guess modern as well, calls for flavored brandies, they're basically never calling for an eau de vie, which is a spirit that's distilled from that particular fruit. Instead, they're generally calling for a grape-based brandy that has been sweetened with something else. Blackberry, apricot, peach, even coffee. Brands like Hiram Walker, which are usually in the 30% ABV range. The United States actually has rules about these flavored brandies, which must be made of brandy and be at least 30% ABV. But instead, for today, I'm going to opt to use a creme de mure, which is a blackberry liqueur. I think they might build this in the glass, but I'm going to use a drink mixer. We're going to start with 1.5 ounces of pineapple juice, half an ounce of lemon juice, half an ounce of lime juice, half an ounce of creme de mure or a blackberry brandy or blackberry liqueur, 1 ounce of a light rum, and while they do say to float Hamilton 151, I'm just going to add it now. All right, let's try the Mr. Bali Hai, the one with blackberry, the one that they've been serving there for about 20 years. The creme de mure comes through, and there's like a subtle bit of bitterness on the finish there, most likely from the Hamilton 151. It is unique. I don't know if everyone's going to like this. I like blackberries, but there's something about creme de mure and a blackberry liqueur that I find not as appealing. There's a drink called Don's Own Grog, which I've not done here because I don't like that drink. I've had it a few times. I've made it myself. I don't like it. Maybe it's my creme de mure. Maybe it's just I don't like that flavor. But it has a fruitiness that I think can be appealing to some people. It doesn't feel too sweet. It doesn't feel too, there's not too much rum flavor, just a little bit of that underlying 151. But I kind of anticipated that if I made it this way, there would be at least a few people, like in the comments or elsewhere, like some backlash, because I didn't make the drink exactly how they want the drink to be made, which is the version that they know with coffee liqueur. And I made that one as well, following the Beach Bum Berry version. 1.5 ounces of pineapple juice, 1 ounce of lemon juice, half an ounce of simple syrup, 3/4 ounces of Kahlua or a coffee brandy, 1 ounce of light rum, and 1.5 ounces of a dark Jamaican rum. And I have it right here. So let's try the one from Beach Bum Berry. I think it was first in Intoxica. It's in Beach Bum Remix. You'll find it on the Total Tiki app and so many other places online. Cheers. There are subtle differences in the recipes, just subtle differences. But overall, I think the clear winner here is the one with Kahlua. The Kahlua just works there. It adds a coffee flavor that's not off-putting. The rum here helps nicely balance it out. I used a light rum and then Karuba, and then it's just doesn't have that bitter fruit, like almost it's almost like an old blackberry flavor that I pick up. It's just not appealing and almost harsh, where the one with coffee just kind of tastes smooth. I think too many people are going to come to the conclusion that the original one is better because it's original, but it's not original. And this is one of the hangups I have with being a part of and listening to and reading sort of cocktail culture, is that people default to this as original. But the problem is they didn't really read the little story that Jeff Berry told about this one. It wasn't that it's original. It's that this was a recipe they found in the 1970s. And he even says in the book that recipe has changed over time, not saying that this is the original one or this is the best one, but because this one became popular, people default this as the one that it has to be with the coffee. It's a coffee drink, when even though for the last 20 years, almost, it's been made with blackberry. Through like the tiki revival and renaissance, it's been made similar to this way and not this way. And that's one of the big things that I always pick up on, is I feel like that people are always missing the full story of something and just defaulting to like a mindset and a belief that matches what they like or what they first had, without recognizing that there's more to that story than we know, or than you know, or that you kind of skipped over. Because for almost everyone out there, not everyone, but almost everyone, you've been drinking, if you've had the Mr. Bali Hai, you've been drinking it with coffee, even though that entire time that you've been drinking it, since the first time you had it, they were serving it differently at the restaurant using blackberry. So does this one match what they serve there today? I don't know. And I don't really even know when this drink became super popular, because I believe it was 2002 where Jeff Berry first shared it. Then it comes out later in Beach Bum Remix. But when does it really, show up online and in videos? It's probably much later. I don't know if that's like coincides with Mr. Black sort of sponsoring everyone on YouTube and people looking for coffee cocktails and pulling out the Total Tiki app or searching online and plugging that ingredient in there. But that's what's kind of funny about this to me. It's that the drink has probably been popular for the last decade or so, but yeah, like I said, they've been making it with blackberry that whole time there. But if I had not done the coffee, people would have been like, that's not authentic, that's not original. And I think it's always just important to remember that we don't know everything. We don't know what the original Mr. Bali Hai was at the Bali Hai. We don't have that recipe. And things change over time, so things evolve, and we get too stuck on the original authentic thing, even though oftentimes it's the person who created it that changed it. None of you were drinking zombies in 1934, but people just default to the 1934 recipe because that's like authentic and that's the best one, even though over time we have Don the Beachcomber himself changing the zombie recipe, and people like not accepting that that's like allowed when the person who made it changes it, or Trader Vic changing the Mai Tai over time because people's preferences change over time and original doesn't always equal best. And having said all of that, in my humble opinion at least, it's the one from the 1970s that everyone thinks is the original one that just tastes better. They're totally different drinks. Just changing that liqueur is so transformative to the overall flavor of the cocktail. And the one with coffee just tastes better to me, even if you don't like coffee. I'm hung up on that creme de mure. I just don't think that I like it. So that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like below. Consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to support this channel more, I have a Patreon page. Otherwise, I will see you on the next one.